Have you ever felt like your life is just a series of waiting rooms, and you're always waiting for the real part to finally begin? We spend our childhoods waiting to grow up, our weekdays waiting for the weekend, and our careers waiting for that next big milestone or retirement. We treat the transition states of our lives as mere friction, blank spaces that we need to rush through to get to the destination. Picture a typical evening. You're stuck on the freeway. It's 5:30 p.m., bumper-to-bumper traffic, and the brake lights ahead of you form an endless river of red. You look down at your dashboard, and your GPS arrival time just slipped back another 15 minutes. Instantly, you feel a familiar tightness in your chest. Your grip on the steering wheel hardens. Your mind starts racing, calculating the lost time, the missed dinner, the emails piling up in your inbox. Inevitably, your hand instinctively reaches for your phone or your earbuds. You ask your voice assistant to summarize your unread emails, check your Slack notifications, or mindlessly stream a short video. Anything to drown out the silence and numb the discomfort of standing still. We live in a culture obsessed with optimization. We have engineered our lives for friction-free speed. Food is delivered in minutes. AI assistants draft our replies in seconds. Messages cross oceans in milliseconds. We have mastered the art of acceleration, but along the way, we've lost our capacity to wait. A delayed web page feels like a personal insult. A long line at the Starbucks drive-thru makes us check our smartwatches with irritation. A late subway train feels like a broken promise from the universe. In the modern world, waiting is viewed as a systemic failure. We treat it as dead time, a blank space that must be aggressively filled, conquered, or endured. We suffer from a chronic disease called productivity guilt. We're trapped in a collective delusion that if we aren't actively producing, consuming, or optimizing every single minute, we are somehow falling behind. But let's pause for a moment and look closer at that anxiety. What are we actually running toward? When we finally cross that next finish line, does our mind actually find peace? Or do we simply reset the clock, pick a new destination, and resume the frantic chase? If life is nothing more than a series of points on a map, and the time spent traveling between those points is wasted, then we are throwing away a massive portion of our existence. Mindfulness offers us a radical alternative. In the economy of human consciousness, there is no such thing as dead time. The universe does not make mistakes with your calendar. When the world forces you to stop, it isn't a punishment. It is an unprompted intermission. It's a gift of unscheduled time, a micro-meditation handed to you in the middle of a chaotic day. Waiting, when approached with awareness, becomes the ultimate practice of freedom. To transform the irritation of waiting, we first need to understand the mechanics of our own impatience. Mindfulness teachers often talk about a state of radical presence, a complete alignment of your physical body and your mental awareness. Think about the last time you stood in a painfully slow line at the airport security checkpoint or the DMV. Where was your body? Your body was right there, feet planted on the floor, waiting your turn. But where was your mind? Your mind was already past the gate, sitting on the plane or rehearsing a difficult conversation you need to have tomorrow. This internal fracture is the true source of our suffering. When your body is anchored in the present, but your mind is sprinting into the future, you create a psychological tear. You are waging a silent, unwinnable war against reality. You want the future to happen right now, and because it won't, the present moment begins to feel like a cage. When this happens, your nervous system interprets your frustration as a threat. Your brain doesn't know the difference between a real physical danger and a slow-moving line. It just registers resistance. Your cortisol rises. Your fight or flight response kicks in. You become hyper-reactive, viewing the person in front of you not as a human being, but as an obstacle blocking your path. Mindfulness doesn't ask you to suppress these feelings. It doesn't ask you to put on a fake smile and pretend you love traffic jams. True awareness begins with radical honesty. The next time you find yourself stuck, instead of checking your notifications to escape, turn your attention inward. Notice the physical sensations. You might observe the tightness in your shoulders, the shallow pattern of your breath, or the sudden presence of impatience. By simply labeling the emotion without judging it, something extraordinary happens. You create space. You step out of the reaction and into the seat of the observer. You are no longer the anger. You are the awareness witnessing the anger. Your impatience is no longer a flaw. It's a diagnostic tool, showing you exactly where your mind is still clinging to control. If your life were always smooth and instantaneous, you would never discover the real boundaries of your peace. There is a common misconception that meditation is something that only happens on a plush cushion in a quiet room with incense burning. But a peace that can only survive in a soundproof room is a fragile peace. The real test of our practice isn't how calm we feel on a mountaintop. It's how we show up when the world gets loud, messy, and inconvenient. The crowded grocery store, the delayed flight, the gridlock on the interstate. These are not disruptions to your practice. They are your practice. They are the training grounds where your resilience is forged. Imagine standing at the grocery checkout on a Sunday evening. The items in your cart are waiting, and the cashier is dealing with a system delay. Instead of letting your mind spiral into frustration, this becomes a perfect invitation to ground yourself. Many people find value here in simply returning to a deep, conscious breath, becoming fully aware of the physical act of standing there, waiting, and intentionally releasing the tension in their jaw as they acknowledge their own restlessness. When we look at breathing this way, we can feel the air moving through the nose, expanding the rib cage, and grounding our weight into our feet. It reminds us that despite the ambient noise around us, this breath is steady, reliable, and happening right now. It becomes a personal home base. When we accept the reality of the moment, accepting that we are exactly where we are, and we cannot force the line to move faster, a profound wave of relief often washes over us. We stop fighting the universe. We resign as the manager of the world's schedule. This perspective allows the shoulders to drop, the muscles around the eyes to soften, and the need to be anywhere else to simply fade away. From this place of stillness, we can choose to widen our perspective. We can look around at the other people waiting with us, the tired parent trying to soothe a restless toddler, or the person next to us who has clearly just finished a double shift. They are carrying their own invisible burdens, their own deadlines, and their own anxieties. Suddenly, frustration dissolves into compassion. We realize that we aren't being singled out by bad luck. We are sharing a deeply human experience with a room full of strangers. Your mindful presence becomes a quiet, steadying frequency in a room full of static. You have just transformed an irritating errand into a sanctuary of human connection. Why are we so afraid of empty time? Because our minds are deeply addicted to the illusion of the future. We live in a perpetual state of postponement, convinced that real life, true happiness, and ultimate security are always just around the next corner. We tell ourselves, once this quarter is over, I'll take a breath. Once I hit my financial goals, I'll find time for myself. Once I get through this commute, my day can finally begin. Without realizing it, we reduce the living, breathing, present moment into nothing more than a stepping stone, a cheap commodity we burn through to get to an imagined tomorrow. But the future is a mirage. When it arrives, it will only ever arrive as now. If you do not know how to live in the messy, imperfect present of today, you won't know how to live in the perfect future of your dreams. You will just find new things to worry about, new goals to chase, and new delays to fight. An unexpected delay is a hard reset for this psychological pattern. It is the universe gently shaking you by the shoulder and whispering, "Stop. Look around. This is your life. Right here. Right now." Look at what is actually happening in the spaces we try so hard to avoid. Even in a mundane waiting room or a stagnant traffic jam, life is vibrant and alive. Look at the way the afternoon light catches the glass of a skyscraper. Listen to the rhythm of the rain hitting your windshield. Feel the miracle of your own heart beating, pumping life through your veins without you ever having to command it to do so. When you drop the demand that the present moment should be different than it is, you unlock true autonomy. The airline can cancel your flight, your meeting can run late, the traffic can halt, but your internal climate belongs entirely to you. You are no longer a victim of circumstances. You are a conscious witness to the unfolding of your life. If you look closely at nature, you will find that the natural world is a masterpiece of patient waiting. Nothing in the wild operates on a timeline of instant gratification. An acorn falls to the forest floor and sinks into the dark, cold earth. It doesn't panic because it can't see the sun. It doesn't rush to grow into a massive oak tree by Tuesday. It waits. It endures the winter frost, quietly absorbing nutrients, allowing its shell to break apart in darkness so that, when the conditions are right, it can push its first green shoot toward the light. The giant redwoods of California do not sprint to the sky. They grow inch by inch over centuries, weathering droughts, fires, and storms, deeply rooted in the stillness of the earth. The natural world knows that waiting is not a passive delay. It is an active, vital period of unseen transformation. It is the space where depth is created. We humans have disconnected ourselves from these organic rhythms. We demand perpetual spring and constant harvest. We expect our careers, our relationships, and our personal growth to move at the speed of our instant technology. This artificial pace is exhausting our souls, leaving us burned out, anxious, and deeply disconnected. Every time you are forced to wait, view it as a momentary reconnection to the natural order of things. Trust the deceleration. In the quiet economy of a pause, the sediment of your frantic thoughts has a chance to settle. The dust clears, leaving room for clarity, intuition, and creative breakthroughs. Waiting is the essential space your soul requires to prepare for the next chapter of your journey. Ultimately, waiting is an opportunity for your mind to do something it rarely gets to do: rest. It is a cosmic emergency brake, saving us from the momentum of our own mindless busyness. Think of your life as a musical composition. A beautiful piece of music isn't just a continuous barrage of notes, played as fast and loud as possible. If you take away the pauses between the notes, the melody collapses into an unbearable, deafening wall of noise. What makes a piece of music beautiful are the rests, the moments of deliberate silence. Those blank spaces give the notes shape, meaning, and emotional resonance. The periods of waiting in your life are those essential rest notes. They break up the frantic cadence of your routine, creating the empty space required for the broader melody of your life to be understood. So, the next time you find yourself marooned at a terminal, or staring at a loading screen, or sitting in the waiting room of an office, do not treat it as lost time. Do not weaponize your devices against the silence. Instead, we can choose to soften our posture. We can release the jaw, drop the shoulders, and perhaps let our eyes close gently if the environment allows it. Even keeping a soft, receptive gaze on the world works wonders. Taking just one deep, luxurious breath allows us to re-experience the raw sensation of being alive. We can remind ourselves, right now, there is nowhere else I need to be. There is nothing else I need to fix. For the next 5 minutes, my only job is to exist. When you do this, the illusion of waiting completely evaporates. You are no longer waiting for life to start. You are actively living it. You have reclaimed your time, your mind, and your peace. You have mastered the Zen art of waiting and found a quiet path to stillness in a world that cannot stop moving. Thank you for pausing, breathing, and listening today. May you find a sanctuary of peace in every step, every breath, and every pause along your way.